Morning and welcome back to Breakfast. It is 7 minutes to 7. China has encroached on New Zealand's historical territorial claim in the Antarctic. Beijing is constructing its fifth base in the southern polar region. This one is situated on Inexpressible Island near the Ross Sea and is well positioned to gather intelligence over New Zealand and Australia. I'm joined now by Otago University political scientist Professor Robert Patman. Morena, Professor Patman, thank you for being with us. All right, talk me through this. So China's planned station falls under New Zealand's historical territorial claim in the Ross dependency. How does that work? How can China come into that territory?
Well, let's be quite clear. According to the 1959 Treaty of Antarctica, Antarctica belongs to no one. And it's only to be used for, that territory is only to be used by states for scientific research. So a number of states have claims, including our own. But technically, that those claims can only be realized when there is an adjustment to the Antarctic Treaty. So it's a sort of future investment, I guess. There's one of the reasons why so many countries, 80 countries now have research stations there, is because of the vast mineral resources, which are believed and known to be located in the Antarctic. So this is why so many countries are interested in that region.
So then what does it mean to have China expanding its capabilities within the Antarctic territory? This is its fifth base, you were saying?
Yes, it will be next to the United States. It will have one of the largest presence in the Antarctica. America has the largest base in McMurdo, which is about 200 kilometers from this new Chinese research station. What does it mean? It means that I think this new facility China's constructing consists of an observatory plus a ground satellite facility, and there is a fear that amongst the Western countries that this may have dual use. It may be used for research, but it may also be used for observing signals intelligence in the southern hemisphere, which includes, of course, Australia and New Zealand.
And are those fears founded?
Well, I think there is great power rivalry at the moment between the United States and China, but I think China's track record in observing agreements has come under strain recently, as seen through Western eyes. It has not observed the law of the sea, which it signed up to with respect to its claim in the South China Sea, where it claims 90% of the available space. And also, of course, China, although being a signatory to the UN, has not done anything to condemn Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. So there's now doubts about China's willingness to uphold the Treaty of Antarctica.
And if, as you say, no one owns Antarctica, whose job is it to monitor what China is actually doing in the Antarctic?
Well, technically, this was a treaty which was signed during the Cold War, and of course we're no longer in a Cold War era. And it was driven by the two then superpowers, the United States and the then Soviet Union, with the support of the UN. But it's a good question. At the moment, we seem a bit leaderless in global terms. The UN Security Council is dysfunctional and, of course, dictated to by the use of the veto.
But, you mentioned the Antarctic Treaty of 1959. It does outlaw the use of Antarctica for military purposes, but encourages scientific research. So is this just a case of us having to take China at their word when they say, look, we're just doing what everyone else is doing?
Well, there is an element of that, yes. And so far, there are concerns. These concerns mainly stem from Washington, from a Washington-based think tank about the dual use of Chinese research facilities. I think until about 2012, until the Xi Jinping leadership came to power, many Western countries were quite happy to give China the benefit of the doubt. I think their concerns about China's role in Antarctica reflect wider concerns about China's long-term global ambitions.
And is there specific concerns about what they might be monitoring when it comes to New Zealand and Australia, given where they are looking to set up this base?
Yeah, all superpowers, and China is a superpower, they are very interested in information. We know, for example, from the recent leaks in Washington, that America not only surveils its adversaries, but also its friends and its allies. So, you know, we shouldn't be surprised that China, which has global ambitions, according to the Chinese leadership, it sees itself as perhaps displacing the United States by the end of the 2040s, wants to get as much information as it can, particularly about countries like New Zealand and Australia, which are friendly with the United States.
Yeah, I was just thinking, with the emergence of AUKUS, is that a major concern about what it is that they might be monitoring?
It could be. It could be, but of course we don't know yet whether New Zealand will be a member of AUKUS. All we know is that the government is exploring discussions about possible associate membership, that is the non-nuclear part of AUKUS. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But it could be a stimulus. But I think China generally sees itself as having a different view of how the world should be organized from the Western world, which is ironic given the fact that it's risen to superpower status thanks to full involvement in the Western global market system.
Professor Robert Patman, we really appreciate your insight, as we always do. That is political scientist Professor Robert Patman joining us live from Dunedin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.